Everybody, it's Katie from Ray & Company Face Painting and Body Art, and in this video today we are going to be doing kind of an Asian design in a celebration of the live action version of Mulan coming out. That version I noticed has a lot of like red and gold. It's kind of dark. It's kind of like grays, reds, golds, metallics, and of course we've got some cherry blossoms here. So that's what we are going to do in today's video. So before we dive in, let's go over the supplies that we'll be using. I have a small mister bottle here, just a cheap mister bottle to activate my water-based paints. And then I have a little pot of glitter here. This is a Mama Clown magenta type glitter. And before I forget, check the description because I will put links and stuff in there as to where to get all this stuff. So you guys don't have to worry about writing it down and making notes. It should all be in the description for you. In terms of, sponges, I will be using a couple sponges. I love these Always Wicked Art sponges. And these are the Paint Pal Luxe, I think they're called, sponges, half rounds. Paint Pal has some blue ones as well. I tend to prefer the Always Wicked Art ones, but I do have both of them, so they both work great. Anyway, brushes I have, so here's what the necessities are, right? For this design is a 3/4 inch. This is actually the Arty angle brush, and I think this is like a 3/4 inch, so this is just a short angle brush. I really like the short bristles on this. It just seems to be easier to control and manage. You'll need a Flora brush, and today I'm using the Paint Pal Pretty Petal brush. And then you'll need a round. You don't have to have, it can just be like a number 3 or a number 4, whichever one you feel comfortable with. Here's the Paint Pal Swirl 3 brush. I'm going to grab a couple of them just so I don't have to rinse between colors. So the other ones that I'm using they're both 3s. All of them are 3s. This is the Paint Pal Luxe Swirl 3. And then this purple one is the Blazing Brush by Marcella Bustamante, a number 3 round LE. So I'm going to set those in my tray, in my I have like a little water container, and again, all this stuff I will show you where you can find some information on some of these other supplies. I have a tag. Oh boy, I think this is just like a rose. I'm pretty sure this is just like a rose color. So there's just like red, pink, and white. So I'll be using that one stroke today, and then I just have my tag regular white here. So this is what I'll be using for line work. Okay, so real quick before I forget again, rayfaceart.com/learn if you want to pick up this How to Build Your First Face Painting Starter Kit. I just updated this for 2020 with new, more updated pricing and more resources, and I break it out by budget level and show you kind of how I progressed from something like this to what I have now. So if you have more questions about some of the products that I recommend, then head over to rayfaceart.com/learn. Don't forget to check the description because all this stuff is probably there as well. All right, so let's get started. Today we are going to start with a base of sort of white and pink. I already have a sponge kind of loaded. It's dry now, but I'm going to hop over to my paints. I have a really pretty pearl white and then kind of a pearl pink. So it's got some pink on it already. It's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and load it up with this white. The way to clean your paints off is you can just take a clean sponge and mist the top of your paint, or if your sponge is damp, you can just wipe off the pink the surface of your paint, and it'll be back to new. All right, heading back over to the design board here. We're just going to take that petal sponge and kind of just go around the eye. So corner of the eye's got more of the white, We're going to go around, throw some on the cheek, a little bit on the cheek as well. You can kind of bring the pink up over to the cheek too if you want. We don't need a lot of paint over here, so I'm just going to, you know, kind of blend and dry off this area over here. All right, next up is we're going to work on the branches. So I'm going to head over to my paint. Just going to load up a round brush. Remember, all of mine are just number 3s today. So I'm just going to load up a number 3 with some brown, some dark brown. And then starting right around the middle of the eyebrow, I'm just going to kind of do something like this and like that. And then same thing over here. You want these to be kind of short because you're going to be loading, you know, utilizing this area for some other stuff. You don't want to end up painting too much over the brown because it can just be kind of tricky to paint over the brown. So there we go. We have a couple little branches to work with there. That should do the trick. If you want these to taper off at the top, you can just kind of meet it in the middle there and taper them off. That works. All right, so next up we are going to work with the cherry blossoms. So I am going to grab that pretty petal brush, and it's going to be damp. I'm going to go ahead and grab my white, and we're going to load this up with a nice generous load of white because we're going to do some double dip flowers. So we'll just get this loaded up nice. Okay, that's really more than enough. And then heading back over to the paints, I am going to grab a little bit of this. It's already, I can tell it's got a little puddle in it, so it's already got some wetness to it. I'm going to grab this kind of, not quite a bubblegum pink, it's a little bit of a deeper pink. And then head back over to our face. You can tell I was practicing a little bit earlier ahead of this tutorial. And to make these double dip flowers, all you do is you just press down. So we'll just blot it. You know, if you think it's going to be too wet, just blot it on your arm a couple of times. And you can tell I was experimenting with some red, and then I ended up going with the darker pink. I like that better. Okay, so we're going to have a fan coming out over here. And so one way we can make some markers for that is we can just create 2 little petals here like this. And then let's give ourselves a guide. Maybe we want to stop our fan somewhere over here. And so now we have created kind of a guideline for where that fan is going to be, and then it'll look like it's sort of overlapping those flowers. So then we'll just put our petal in the middle of both of those. And then essentially what you're going to do is just create another flower right here. Oops, sorry about that. We got somebody coming in, going out, whatever. And then let's see, we'll put a petal on the end of these guys. And then you can kind of just sneak them in wherever you think might look good. You know, you can kind of sneak them in the corner. You can sneak them in off to the side. Do something like that. So I think that's looking pretty good so far. All right. Let's go in and grab that Arty angle brush, 3/4 inch angle brush. And now is the time to pull out that rose split cake. So I am going, and this is also called a 1-stroke. So I'm going to take my water bottle and my 1-stroke off to the side here and just give it a couple mists. My brush is already kind of damp. I think I'm going to dampen it just a little bit more dip it in the water, blot it off onto a hand towel that I have handy. And you can tell my paint is kind of glossy. So that is what I'm looking for. I don't want it too wet, but I want it wet enough. Now I want a little bit more red. I want this design to be just a little bit more bold. And I think that we're going to have some noise here in the background. Sorry, I'm home with my kids today. So, Miss Nora, so anyway, we are going to make this design a little bit bold today. So we're going to grab a little bit more of the red. And then essentially what we're going to do is you can make another mark if you want, just like a guideline. But we had kind of already set the guideline for that fan. And now we're just going to merge the two. So there's kind of a technique that you can use. If you wiggle your brush back and forth, you'll get this kind of cool effect. But first, sometimes if you're new to this, sometimes what's easier to do first is just to drag and connect the dots, so to speak, so that you get the basic down first, and that you know where your guideline is. But you can always go back over it. So if we grab a little bit more of that one stroke, what we can do is we can go back over it, and then we can do this wiggle, and then it's going to give it just a little bit more of an effect, like a fan. I'm at a little bit of an awkward angle, so, but you can kind of give it a rough edge, and then you see how it's just kind of giving it a little bit of that the wrinkles in the fan. So that's just a real easy way to achieve that. There you go. You can see it a little bit more now. All right, so we've got our fan. I still have that brush that was a little bit loaded up with the brown. So I'm going to come back in here, grab a little bit more brown, head back over to my face. And essentially what I'm going to do now is just create a half circle here, not even a full half circle, just a little bit of and then just kind of do some lines towards the eye to give that fan effect. Now this could be positioned out a little bit more. Obviously, I don't have that much real estate in between the eye and the ear, but you know, work with what you've got. All right, so last, well, not quite last, but we're getting there. I am going to head back over to my paint. We're going to grab some gold. So let me, head over to the gold. Okay. Like I said, I was checking out the posters and the artwork and stuff for the live action Mulan. That's not quite released. It was supposed to be released, but at the time of this recording, we are in the middle of a COVID-19 pandemic. And so the movie was delayed. The release of it was. But I noticed that there was a lot of red and gold and metallics in this particular film. So it's kind of inspired by that. So we're just going to do a couple little gold elements on the fan here. And then I think, what does it look like if we do some gold? We can do some gold dots in the middle here. I'll show you guys what it looks like. I did red on the other one, but you can do some gold. That would be kind of pretty. Over here, grab just a little bit more. Okay, where was I? All right, we're gonna go right here. grab some gold dots there. Now you could do red, you could do white in there as well. So it's really up to you. I'm going to rinse out my round brush. Actually, I have another one handy. That's why I had more, right? So I'm going to grab my white. I'm going to load up my white with, or my Luxe brush, my Paint Pal Luxe brush. I'm losing my words today. And I'm just going to get some white and do a couple little mini flowers. Just sneak them in here and there. So I just think it kind of adds a cute little flair to it. And I did not even put a center in the other ones, so I'll just go ahead and take some extra time here to put a center in these ones, and we'll just do red. So the designs are just slightly different, so you'll be able to see kind of what it looks like with both and choose which one works best for you or which one you like the best. I have a different cherry blossom design that did not, well, it's basically the same design, but I didn't do with the fan in it last year, and it was really popular. So I think this would be a really popular design for you. Okay, so we'll just come in here and just kind of do a cute little red dot in the middle of each of these. All right, that's really it. And then you can kind of finish it off with some just holographic glitter. I can't remember if I had pulled out the pink now that I'm thinking back to the beginning of this video. It seems so long ago already. I think, you know, you could use some of this Mama Clown pink. I think right now I'm just going to give it a little mist of regular holographic. So you can just kind of sprinkle that on there and give it a nice little effect. All right, let's take a look at the difference between this one, and we'll just slide this over for a minute. And then you can kind of see the difference here. So we did gold dots in the middle of these flowers. We did some red dots in the middle of the little white ones. I think that's really the only main difference. This one has the gold and the red sort of accents on the fan. Everything else is about the same. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. This is just the cherry blossom tutorial for face painting. And again, if you want to learn more about some of the products that I like to use, head over to the description or rayfaceart.com/learn. You can pick up this how to build your first face painting starter kit buyer's guide. And then sometimes when I remember, I will post a real life version of this on my Instagram. And so you can check that out at rayfaceart. That's where I am over there. Always appreciate the company. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you in the next tutorial. All right, take care.